Welcome to Leaders and Learners. My name is Tanya McKenzie, and you can find me at the intersection of public relations and leadership. Join us as we talk to organizational leaders, elected officials, experts, authors, artists, and personalities, sharing their stories, talking about how they got to where they are and how they continue to learn and lead the way. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, good Monday morning, everyone. Afternoon, evening, depending on where you're at. Welcome to another edition of Leaders and Learners, where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. And today I have someone absolutely incredible. When I look at his career, you think you get to this place where most people get comfortable, right? And we talk about learning and continuously learning. I thought he was in a place where he was comfortable, and then he took another leap. So how do you, get out of your comfort zone and expand even more when you think you've reached the pinnacle of knowledge, the pinnacle of your career, the pinnacle of, your educational status? I had someone on the show before that she was like, why don't you introduce me with my credentials first and my title? And that is so important to some people. But I think the story behind that title is even more important. Not your title, but what it is you actually do. But the funny thing, I'm going to bring him on, and I want him to talk about his titles that he's had, because they actually play so much into the story that we're going to talk about today. So I'm not going to hold you any longer. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Erikk Aldridge. How are you?
Hey, Tanya, how are you today?
Pretty good. Always glad to have you. So listen, I don't usually get into like titles and what you do and all that stuff until after we tell the story. But I think for you, it's important for people to understand your titles and the story that you are currently telling, because it's going to be so epic. I think we're really at the beginning of it, which is crazy because your career has been so extraordinary already. So if you don't mind, introduce yourself and kind of walk them through your career path. I mean, you don't have to give them everything, leave them wondering a little bit, but the high points of some of the things that you've already done and what you're doing now, because I think, it's pretty important.
Well, I definitely won't bore anyone. And anytime you and I get together, the conversation is always eventful and fun. So we will definitely keep it that way today. Most important title for sure, and it's beyond kind of what I do at work. It's being a member of the community, the title of, being a father, being a husband, being a son. All those things are, the most important titles that I hold, and I hold those very dear. When it comes to, what I've been able to achieve throughout my profession, as a native Angelino who, grew up in the shadows of the forum, and being able to start my career professionally with the Los Angeles Lakers organization and public relations for the first 10 years of my career, and then transferring over to the community sector of the business and overseeing the foundation, was, definitely an opportunity for me to, take all my skills and place them in a place of purpose, which led me to transferring over to the Los Angeles Dodgers front office in a similar capacity in community relations. I've worked in pro sports for 15 years to start my career, then went over to corporate over at the Walt Disney Company, overseeing community relations here in Los Angeles. And then prior to coming to LA28, where I am currently the vice president of impact, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, I spent 8 years at AEG, which all of you here in LA know, and around the world, it is one of the leading sports and entertainment companies in the world. Things like Crypto.com Arena, LA Live, Coachella, etc. But sandwiched in between all of that, I spent 6 years as the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of Venice. And there is where I always tell people I learned the most about how to be the steward of a community organization, how I learned to build consensus amongst a board and a community, and really leaned into the opportunity that we all have when we work in a place of purpose. So that's a quick snapshot of the background, and I guess we go from here.
It's so interesting that you say that, because no matter what I've done in my career thus far, I always look back at my training and the work that I did at the YMCA. So I was the associate executive director there for Mount Diablo region. So it was like 8 facilities, 12 childcare centers, but building community around organizations that really are set to have an impact in that community. That was one of the strongest lessons that I've been able to take in every part of my career. What is it about those types of organizations do you think kind of empowers you as a leader to be able to do the things that you went on to do after that?
Very good question. And so for me, I can speak specifically about my journey, at the Boys and Girls Club. So what I always tell people is, when you work at a company and, you're over a department and you're responsible for the budget and the strategic plan for that department and the personnel for that department, it's pretty straight and linear. When you oversee and are executive at a nonprofit organization, you learn about human resources, about finance, about how to run a board of directors, and you have the volunteer support from individuals throughout the business community, in all the various sectors, whether they're hedge fund managers or accountants or people in the tech community. So from that experience, it's a lot broader than people think when you work in the nonprofit sector, and you really get a chance to understand how, business works a little bit more versus when you're just working in a particular department. So for me, that was really influential in moving forward to AEG and now LA28. I've had a chance to, run a small business, if you will, and, all the things that come with that. And so, I think people, as they look through their careers and they look through learning, there's also opportunities to learn where you might not think they, might be.
Okay, I think I got it then. The volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
That's something different than in every other corporate job that you've done. That volunteerism and being able to, I don't know, kind of get people to buy into what you're selling in a way that they're actually giving away their time. They're saying, I want to give you my time. You don't have to pay me for this. Payment is like being able to work alongside of you to get this big thing done. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I mean, I think in any line of business, you're looking to build a case for support, and so, as we think about the LA28 games that are going to be coming to Los Angeles in about 5.5 years, what we've been able to do is, build a case for support, starting with the International Olympic Committee on why, Los Angeles, and then, here at the local level, meeting with community leaders and stakeholders to, tell everyone the why and why, why this is important, why this is a great opportunity for everyone, why this is a great opportunity for Angelinos in our community. And it's, it transcends sport and civic pride. There's so many other elements to it, but I think, it's really having that case for support of what you want to do. And so, in any industry that you're in, whether it's the nonprofit sector, selling widgets, tech, there's an element of sales and stating your case. And I think, these are things, since this is a learner's podcast, I think that's something that I would like to leave with the listeners, is how important that learning component is. And that's a really thing that, I've leaned into my entire career.
Okay, what's up with the LA28 though? Why can't we just call this the Olympics 2028? America's Olympic. I mean, I don't know. What's 2028? Who made that up? Where did that even come from?
Oh, God, I think it's really fun and dynamic. I mean, we have some really cool creatives around LA28. This is a global endeavor, and the games have been happening for decades. And, we've been fortunate here in Los Angeles. 2028 will be the third Olympiad held here in Los Angeles, first in 1932. Then again in 1984, when I was a 16-year-old here in Los Angeles, and now, 2028. So why LA28? I think it's a really cool name. The branding around it is super fun. But I think the most important thing is, and the naming part of it, I'm glad you mentioned it, Tonya, because this is not just the Olympic Games. This is the Olympic and Paralympic Games. And this will be the first time that the Paralympics will be taking place here in Los Angeles. So that's a really big marker for us here in Los Angeles, especially as we think through how we want to make an impact in disability inclusion.
Well, let's take the people for a little tour around what LA28 has to offer. You let me know where to navigate to and let me know what's going on. Because first of all, the graphics in itself get us super excited. Yeah. Wait, before we even get into that, let me ask you, what 2028, there's going to be another Olympics before this Olympics.
So, they're actually going to be two. So there's going to be the 2024 games held in Paris. So they are next up. And then 2026, the Winter Olympics will be in Milan, Italy. And then we are up in 2028. So yeah, I don't think we have to navigate around the site, but just here on this landing page, you see in the upper left-hand corner, the A in LA being changed out in every moment. And, these ever-changing A's, as we call them, have been designed by celebrities and athletes like our very own Allison Felix and soccer superstar Morgan. Gosh, why am I blanking on the name? But Alex Morgan, excuse me. Sorry, Alex. And other celebrities like Billie Eilish. So, for us, I think, these are really cool and creative ways for people who have been a part of the games to participate in everything that we're doing, only as LA can do in a creative fashion.
Yeah, I think these are
Alex Morgan. There it is right there.
Yeah, I think these are pretty dope though. So if you guys have not taken the opportunity to kind of tour the site and check out what's to come, I highly suggest it. It gets you very excited. And I brought that up too, because I've never seen, obviously, this type of excitement around an Olympics. Like we get excited about it maybe a year before it comes, before it happens. I just wanted to know kind of the methodology behind so much work and so much time put behind this. Is that usually how it's done and we just don't see it? Or is this just something different that you guys have decided to do for whatever reason? And you can get into that.
Yeah, I think you're like everyone else. I think you're excited. We're excited. Angelinos are excited because this is, what we love to do here in Los Angeles. So we love to put on a show. We love to be on the main stage. And we just had the Super Bowl. We have the FIFA World Cup coming here. We have the College Football National Championship coming to our market. And so, the Olympic and Paralympic Games are right up our alley. And I think for us, after 2024, when the handoff happens, we will go into hyperdrive. But, we've been very fortunate because, when the games were awarded to us by the IOC, they awarded initially, there was a chance that we would have been in 2024 and Paris would have been in 2028. But the way it turned out was Paris was awarded the games in 2024. We were awarded 2028, which gave us a lengthy runway. And I think, our team has really been able to take advantage of that. And that's been a part of our, our marketing, our ability to, creatively design all the things that are around our emblem and our brand and start pushing that out there. But then more importantly, and you started to ask the question about the big why, why are people excited? I know, speaking for myself, who is the Vice President of Impact, I think through the ways that, we, through the power of the games and the power of sport can make, our communities better in the areas that really matter. So that's, for me, I think that's where my excitement lies.
Can you talk to us about some of the locations that you guys selected to be a part of the games and why? Can we go through that?
Yeah, so for those of you who were around in 1984, if you can remember, Exposition Park and the Coliseum was kind of the hub. That's where everybody went to do their pin trading and kind of hang out. You had the Coliseum, you had the sports arena, and the Olympic pool, and that was kind of the center of activity. Fast forward to 2028, we have a really dynamic geographic footprint. So for you native Angelinos, starting from the south, where we have our Long Beach Sports Park, all the way down to the south. Then moving north, we have the South Bay Sports Park, which is the home of Dignity Health Sports Park, home of the LA Galaxy, and a number of world-class facilities. From there, you shoot to the north and you have our downtown sports park, which is made up of LA Live, the LA Convention Center, Crypto.com Arena, as well as USC and their world-class facilities such as Galen Center. Obviously, you have the LA Memorial Coliseum right there, which has been a venue where all three of our games have touched. And then you move to the north where we have our Valley Sports Complex, and and sandwiched in between that, just below, is the Athletes Village, which will be at UCLA. And so for a number of reasons, our games in 2028 are really special. You think about our world-class venues that we have already in play, from a sustainability standpoint, a lot of people say the most sustainable games you can have are ones where there aren't new construction, new buildings being built. And so you think about LA and you think about the Coliseum and the upgrades made there. You think about LA Live and Crypto.com Arena. You think about SoFi Stadium, which is a beautiful venue. You think about Intuit Dome, which will be the home of the LA Clippers, which is coming online in Inglewood. You have USC, which will be the media hub for members of the media from all across the world. And then UCLA, a world-class facility where our athletes will live and train and get treatment and eat, and then go out to the venues to participate. UCLA, fortunately, that's the time of year they're on summer break. And so the campus will be available to those athletes. And I think for many of them this will be their, maybe second or third Olympiad, they're going to find UCLA just to be an amazing facility. They've had so many great Olympians, go through the doors at UCLA. So, again, just top notch across the board. And it's going to be a lot of opportunity. And with those sports parks, Sonia, if you can imagine, you're going to be able to, whether you actually go in to see sporting events, which we hope, a lot of people have a chance to do, but they're going to be live sites with other activities and entertainment happening. So no matter where you live in that geographic footprint, you're going to have an opportunity to get that Olympic and Paralympic experience.
Erikk, you've had a lot of experience touching young people's lives. Some young people that are now grown men and grown women that you have affected their lives in all of your past situations, your past jobs, and your organization. We haven't even gotten into rock stars, but what do you want your legacy to be? Because what you're doing now, obviously, is global. It's not just local. It's not just the Angelians. And looking at, I don't know if you guys know, he has a brother that's up in the Bay. He's cultivated a world where he is also touching lives. You helped him do that. Right. Like, even looking at every place your footprint lands, what do you want your legacy to be when this is all said and done?
I don't know. Legacy is kind of a scary word. I feel like I'm still living in impact and opportunity. And so that's kind of how I view things on a daily basis. Legacy is a really big word, really powerful word. It's a place that I hope to get to at some point in time. I feel like, I'm still like the shark in the ocean, and, I'm still swimming, so I'm still breathing and creating opportunities. And I think for me right now, Tonya, it's about the opportunity to make an impact. And, I think about the things that we want to accomplish through the games, especially around disability inclusion, which I talked a little bit about, bringing the power of the Paralympic Games and what that means to a lot of people who have physical disabilities or have other types of roadblocks and are looking to be inspired. There's nothing more inspiring than to see the Paralympians out there competing at the highest level from all across the world. But also, as we look through the lens of gender and racial equity. I mean, I think for me, this has been a tough, couple of years in my life, dating back to George Floyd, all the way up through all the things that are happening now within our city. And so for me, I think, I look at, the opportunity that the games have. And so, you think about a program that we have started, Play LA, in which we partner with the Department of Recreation and Parks through a $160 million multi-year grant to basically, eliminate barriers to sport, right? So we all know the number one barrier is cost. And so for young people within the city of LA to participate in swim and basketball and, new activities like surf, new sports for disabled young people in the adaptive sport world. I participated in a parasurf event a few weeks back at Venice Beach. I mean, those are things that are current impact. Those are things that are happening now that affect people and impact their lives. And so for me, it's really like living in the moment of these opportunities. And then I guess thinking about, when it's all said and done, taking a big step back and seeing, what the legacy is. But I'm really wrapped up in all the opportunities that we have now to do things.
Speaking of young people, we did have a question that came in. He said he has a 4th and a 6th grader in Glendora School.
Awesome.
How are you going to connect with these kids, preteens now for in 6 years, the Olympics and the hometown fans? You talked to me earlier about having so much pride in LA and Angeline pride and showing the best of LA. I want you to address this, but I also want you to not leave out some of the current climate issues that might also be going on and how we can actually use the Olympics to maybe bridge some of these gaps or deal with some of the things that these young people might be dealing with in the next 6 years.
Sure. I love this question because this is a parent who obviously is a super fan as well. They, as I mentioned in their note to you, I consider myself a super fan as well. I believe in the power of sport. And I think for all the young people that are out there, we'll continue to engage with them digitally through our marketing efforts, but also, doing, activations around sport that will invite young people in to be a part of the movement. And I think, the outreach that we're doing in those kind of that geographic footprint that you mentioned, we're going to be looking to do things with nonprofit organizations such as, YMCAs and Boys and Girls Clubs, et cetera, to make sure that they can help, spread the word and us to support them and them support us about the power of sport and how it can change lives. So I hope those his 4th and 6th graders, so you fast forward, they'll both be in high school and, hopefully they will be in a position to volunteer, during the 2028 games.
Absolutely. And Maisha Jones, accessibility, inclusion, and community engagement springboards. Yes, great mission. I love it. And since you talked about getting others involved, I have 2 questions. One, Miss Victoria said she wants to know how to help. And then my other question was for people that are not athletes, but they really still want to be involved some kind of way. Mr. Impact, like how can they get their footprint in this awesome event?
Yeah, so I'm going to circle back and just talk about 4 of our impact commitments in particular. So I talked a little bit about youth sports and our commitment there, but we also have a commitment to economic empowerment. And so what you want to think about when you're thinking economic empowerment, you're talking about community business and procurement. So opportunities for small businesses, local businesses, women-owned businesses, minority businesses. We really want to make sure that Angelinos have an opportunity to be a part of the economic opportunities associated with the game. So, we're going to be working with stakeholders. We're currently developing a working group made up of a lot of really smart, talented, and committed individuals and organizations throughout Los Angeles County, in the greater LA region, where we're going to find out from them, the best practices, the things that work, the things that don't work, and be able to blend that into a plan that we push out moving forward. So, not only are we talking about community business opportunities, but we're also talking about local hire and the opportunity for young people, teens, young adults, transitional workers, and others who at times, come from communities that are marginalized and don't have an opportunity to participate in these types of, great opportunities. We want to make sure that we lean into those communities and those groups as well, to make sure that, again, everyone can participate and be a part of the things that are going to be happening around the games. And then the last two pillars, one is creativity, arts, and culture. You saw a little bit of a snapshot of that when you went to the website. I mean, we are LA. We are the creative capital of the world. We believe that we have so much culture to share with people. I joke, the beauty of LA is that we are so diverse. When you think about our people, our communities, from Venice Beach to Boyle Heights, from Southgate to the South Bay, from Compton to the San Fernando Valley, and everywhere in between, we are diverse. We have a lot of stakeholders. Also, one of my biggest challenges is, when you think about creativity, arts, and culture, is how do we show up authentically LA to the world and for each other? And I think, we're going through that process now. It's challenging, but exciting, because we do know that we want to make sure that while we have this platform, that we show up authentically LA, whether it's, the food that we put out, or, whatever we come up with and develop, that we showcase to the world. We really wanted to, be the best of LA, if you will. And then the last piece, which is of immense importance, is, what we're going to be doing around environmental sustainability, making sure that the carbon footprint around our games is very, is low, and that, we are working at the highest international standards when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions and carbon footprint, but also taking a look at, things such as mobility. And, we have a great infusion of the Metro Rail system, with the Purple Line coming on, working down through Wilshire, the expansions of people movers at LAX, and, just a better connection throughout our city. And how does that impact all of our community members? And, whether it's a young kid who is trying to get to soccer practice, or, a mom trying to get to work, and, how can we, be a part of, and using the games to show, hey, this is how people can move around without having to necessarily hop into a car. So as someone like yourself, who's in a car quite a bit, and would probably love some relief if she could put one of her kids, on the train to get to baseball practice or softball practice or cheer, I'm sure you, like many, are looking for another pathway. And I think, the games will be a way and a platform to showcase how people can move around differently here in LA.
So, not that I would ever get on it, but I heard there was a bus around here in Redondo that you could actually just get on, and it would take you to a Dodger game straight there, and it's free. I'm not saying I would get on it, but are those the types of situations that you guys are looking to build and make sure that all of LA, because that was going to be my next question, is what does LA look like for the next 6 years? Like, should we just be afraid to leave our house? It's already a mess. So how are we supposed to be moving around? Should we expect more construction? Is it going to get wild? Should we just stay in the house, or will we have more opportunities to have, larger, impactful transportation around Southern California?
Yeah, well, I'm excited. As I drive around, and when I'm going to visit my mom in Inglewood, and I see the Metro line, at the Crenshaw line, which then takes you to LAX. And we finally, in LA, we're going to have a rail system that goes all the way to LAX. So just imagine you're attending a convention in downtown Los Angeles, and you could, get off the plane with your suitcase and, hop on the rail system and get to downtown and get to your hotel and walk to your convention without having to rent a car. I mean, that's a big win. So I think, being a part of all the things that are happening already here in Los Angeles is great. And I think, the games will be able to, kind of tee off of all those things and continue to think through, how do we creatively move people around, both the workers, the attendees of events, and fans, and the athletes. And so we're actively working on with our games mobility group on, what that looks like. But, I know as someone who grew up here, has worked here and worked all over, I'm excited about the new rail systems and the new opportunities to be able to to move around the city without having to get in a car. And I'm excited about that, and hopeful that we continue to develop our safe bike lanes and things like that, where young people or people like old people like myself can hop on a bike and get to dinner or breakfast or what have you without having to get in a car.
I want to back up really quick. We talked about the economic impact.
Mm-hmm.
There are tons of women-owned, minority-owned businesses currently that still struggle to be able to utilize their title, their certificates, to be able to get government jobs and opportunities. Is there something in particular that LA28 will be able to do for these LA-based businesses that maybe even LA County and these cities that we live and work in can't do, because that's still a struggle?
Yeah, Tonya, that's a really good call out. I think, we are very cognizant of that, which is why we have these working groups in which we have, entities from all across, the LA business sector, organizations like the LA Sports and Entertainment Commission, who oversees bringing large scale events to Los Angeles. One of the unique things that they were able to do was establish this Business Connect program for minority owned businesses to be able to get some of the opportunities associated with the Super Bowl. I personally know two people in their businesses that were able to, through this program, get business and at the Super Bowl. So I think for us, this is a really good opportunity. Right now, we are listening. We are convening the experts. So when we do come out with our policies and the opportunities become available, we're hopeful that the talk around like I didn't know, we didn't know, that will be definitely not the norm. We want people that have the businesses and that have the ability and the capabilities to to apply and get the the opportunities and when necessary know how they can be coached up or get the the things that they need to be a viable option for these economic opportunities. So we lean into this on a daily basis. Our team within the External Affairs Department, it's something that's a high priority. Again, we have 4 impact commitments, but the through lines of those impact commitments are racial and gender equity, and that's really important to us.
I love that. Now let's go ahead and get to Tim. Are there opportunities for people to work for LA28 now or only in the future? He's a comms professional and would love to work for such an amazing event. Yes, Tim, I hear you.
Awesome, Tim. Well, I'm glad that you are excited to, about the opportunities associated with LA28. I think the best thing I could do is to kind of explain, how we're set up. Right now, I think we have less than 200 employees. We're still, early in our ramp up stage. At some point in time, we will have probably, 5,000 plus employees working directly with LA28. But more importantly, there are going to be a lot of other economic opportunities associated with vendors, other entities that are going to be coming into town, hosting parties, doing events, corporate sponsors, commercial partners, media, et cetera, across the board. So, a lot of that's going to happen and be online post 2024 after Paris, and then obviously the 2 years prior to 2028. So if you think of a hockey stick, that's going to be the ramp up, if you will, towards the games. And I would say, Tim, there's a lot of things that are happening out there on LinkedIn and what we're doing and what the various opportunities are. So I would say follow us and maybe there's something that matches up to, what you're interested in.
I love that. 6 years, your title.
5.5.
Yeah, 5 and 8.
We take all the time. We take all the time we can get, but
5.5. So, Vice President of Impact. One, tell me what that actually means. Like, what is your job, and what are you doing for the next 5.5 years? Like, I see you in planes and trains and automobiles and in places that English is not the first language. So, for the next 5.5 years, what does the Vice President of Impact do?
Yeah, For me, Tonya, I have a laser focus on developing strategies around our 4 impact commitments that will help leave a lasting impact and legacy here in Los Angeles. And so, for me, my days are spent really working with our team to strategically think about how do we, do things within those 4 impact areas to set the members of our community up for success, to continue to talk about the power of sport for young people and how it can change lives. So it's really working on programmatic opportunities and impact right now with the brighter lens on what is the final impact and legacy that comes from the game. So a lot of strategy, a lot of time with our team staff, talking to stakeholders, being out in the community. We have so many great leaders in these various sectors, whether it's sport or economic empowerment or youth workforce development in the sustainability sector. So speaking to them and being really intentional and thoughtful about taking that time to have those conversations before acting is something that I spend a lot of time doing. I was recently in Seoul, Korea at the Seoul Korea Olympic Legacy Forum. And, it was a convening of, Olympic and Paralympic leaders from all across the world, people who already hosted games and who will be hosting games in the future. And I was just talking about, how can we, through the power of the game, through the power of sport, how can we, make an impact in our markets, in our community? How can we leave a lasting legacy? And what are the things that we can share that can be shared across borders?
I love that. One of the most exciting things to me about any large sporting event, especially in Southern California, has been, whether it's the Super Bowl or the NBA All-Star or MLB All-Star, those things are so incredible to me because I love how they embrace the young people, right? Whether it's kick, run, punt, or just how they have an area just for the young people.
Yeah.
With the work that you've always done, it always included some elements around our young people, not the teenagers, not young people that's going to get the job, but the little guys that are empowered by what they're able to experience when they're about yay big. What do you see that looking like with something as global as this right here in LA and our youth? Because they love it and I love it. Love to see it.
Yeah, I think if you live in the city of LA, you're going to continue to see activations around the Play LA program. If your kids aren't involved, you should go to your local recreation center and take a look at Play LA. A lot of great opportunities. The programming is free. Some new offerings, like I said, such as skateboarding and surfing, that haven't been on the menu for the City of LA Recreation Parks Department, but those things are now on the menu of opportunity for kids, adaptive sports as well for disabled young people. But then I think when you think about the games, and we went over the geographic footprint, you think through the live sites that will happen at the games, which will be fun of obviously the competition, but all the other things that'll surround that, whether it's, fan fest, music, artists, etc. It's going to be a place to be. I think the thing that I think about is, 84, I was a teenager, but me and all my friends that are, in my age group, we fondly remember, some of my friends worked the games. Everyone had different roles, but everyone remembers it so fondly, whether it was trading pins or just, having the spotlight on Los Angeles. So I think, we haven't gotten all the tricks yet, but we're going to have a lot of really fun things for every demographic here when it comes to the games.
So that's exciting. Where do we go from here? Because 5.5 years, so I need to get you at least once a year to get an update.
Happy to do it.
Anything else you want to share with the audience? I need that so I can always keep them updated. What is next for them to look out for? What because after this, they're gonna be like, so now what do I do?
Yeah, well, I think
Hey, what's Erick's email address? Like, tell the people what to do.
yeah, so I think one thing is really stay in line with everything that's happening via our social. We're on every platform. Our website LA28.org. We will start the process of capturing volunteer information, and that's available via the website. And that I would say encourage everyone to lean in all the things that are going on. We know we need a lot of people to make this a success. We have to have our most passionate community members who love sport, who love community, who love being a part of something special, to be a part of this. So I would say just be on the lookout. There's going to be a lot of things happening. Everything from if an Olympian, then we have a fellowship program, which if you are a retired Olympian or Paralympian, that they can apply for. So all these things we push out through our various digital channels on that front, but a lot of exciting things, more ever-changing A's. We're working on some annual activations around Olympic and Paralympic Day, which happens every June. June 23rd, I believe is the date. So we have some fun things that we're going to be launching in 2023. It's we're getting to that time where we're moving past just strategizing and typing it in. We're getting to that point where we're going to continue to start pushing out and moving out to activate with the people and our stakeholders. So this is an exciting time for us as well. And we're looking forward to those opportunities.
But listen, everybody's not VIP like you, Erikk. So people that aren't VIP and still want to be able to mix and mingle with the cool people, is there any opportunities for that, or you just SOL?
I don't know. I didn't know I was VIP. First of all,
Stop playing.
I've stood in many lines throughout my life to get in, and I have to buy Laker tickets now. So I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not super VIP. I do enjoy my perks. No, I just think the games are still specifically are still a few years out, but again, we're going to be doing a lot of cool things, and I would say for those fans and even super fans or people who are casually interested, we are working hard to bring some exciting things to you. And I think the thing is when we get to the games, the venues where things are going to take place are amazing. And so, the opportunity to attend, all the events, whether it's track and field or swimming or gymnastics or water polo or BMX or surfing or whatever it is, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to see some amazing things. And again, we host a lot of things in LA, but this is on a global scale. So, the people who are going to be coming into the market, I would say, folks, get your businesses ready, get your small businesses ready. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for commerce in that area as well. And so, especially if you're in the, those areas where, we pointed out where our sports parks are, there's going to be a lot of opportunities in those communities as well.
When you are not laser focused on having impact globally, what are you doing?
Oh, for me, I like staying busy. I still coach youth baseball. A lot of people ask, how do you find the time? And I think for me, it's really, it's my medicine, it's my relief. Sport has meant a lot to me. The game of baseball has meant a lot to me. I attribute quite a bit to, my ability to get to where I am today. So I spend a lot of time doing that. Also, continue to develop the foundation that I started, Inglewood Baseball Fund, with our board of directors, and thinking through how we can continue to make an impact on helping, young people live their dream of being able to play college baseball, and helping young people with that, which is a lot of fun. Recently, been involved with UC San Diego Alumni Board of Directors and Athletics Board of Directors, which is my alma mater. So that's been new and that's been fun. And then, again, just enjoying, being an Angelino in Southern California, the beach, the weather, and that's why we all love LA.
You've been married forever. You do a lot of stuff. Like, how does she keep up with you? Why does she even put up with you? Because you're kind of a mess, and this I'm sure does not make it any easier. So since you didn't say, and I still continue to be an amazing husband, and my wife stays happy, why don't you explain to people how you do that with everything else that you have going on? Because that is not a small task, sir.
Isn't that a different podcast? No.
Okay, balance.
I think I started off by saying, my number one role is being a husband, being a father, being a son, and I know Tiffany. She's as busy as I am, so it's a pretty busy household in general, and it's always kind of been like that. But she enjoys sport. I mean, I think that's one of our connections is that. She loves her NFL. She loves her NBA. She loves her track and field. And so, in this case, she was probably just excited about me landing this opportunity than I was because she, as a former track athlete, she's someone that really, really loves the games. And so, that's kind of what we do. We stay busy. We love our sports. We try to make as much space possible for family, and that includes, our kids who are now adults, which is different.
Yeah, that was my shout out to Amazing Wives in America. Just had to throw that out there. So
absolutely,
I want to thank you for spending the time with us and getting us excited. I don't think we can be as excited as you because you are knee deep in it and definitely see pieces of this story that we have yet to see, but your vision is definitely coming across really big on the screen, and it is very exciting to be a part of that, even if it's just in La La Land, but having you here makes it that much more impactful, and I hope that we get a chance to chat with you again soon when something comes up. You can come back and let us know and get everybody all excited about it, get the kids over to the youth organization so they can be a part of it. But I think this is an opportunity, especially with the climate of things, to really bring our state, our city together around this impactful event happening in Los Angeles. So I just wanted to thank you.
No, thank you. Looking forward to coming back in to check in with you and everyone about the progress that we're making on the games. And hopefully then we'll have some, more concrete updates and things that are happening. But, I'm excited and always thankful for the opportunity to come in and talk to folks and share, everything that I'm doing career-wise. But, also, if I was able to help anyone that was listening in regards to their career path and the opportunities that are in front of them, I hope that was a part of today's discussion as well.
Always. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch. So listen, if you heard what he said, I highly suggest that you go to the website, you get connected. There's so many different opportunities to be a part of what's coming up. And I think there might be other opportunities now. You don't have to wait. You can get started now, getting the information. If you have a business idea and you think it's going to fit in with what's going to happen in LA28, or you haven't decided the location and you want to be in one of those geographical areas, you can actually go to the site and see where those places are. So there's definitely opportunity for you to do some forward thinking on this, how you would fit in with the games, or just how you could grow your business and grow your career in something like this. I think, with sports, people forget that sports is a business. Even if it's professional sports, there's accounting, there's, sales and apparel, and there's so many different avenues that you can explore that will help you stay connected to something like this that will have a global impact, but more so in your community. And I just hope that you guys take the time to explore the site, see what's going on, and share the information with others, because the more educated we are, the more informed we are, the better this will be for everybody. And that's the point, is to really make it impactful for everybody, for all of our communities, all of our kids, all of our elders, all of our adaptive athletes, just for everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in. And again, the best leaders are lifetime learners. And I am so glad that you shared another episode of Leaders and Learners with me. I will see you guys soon. Take care.